On Twitter as well. Go on to Twitter. Follow us. If you're not following us, I wonder why not. Follow us on Twitter and always share your reactions and comments.
Who else would you want to follow?
Exactly. I mean, the best in the West is here. All right. So follow us on Twitter at Splash FM 1055. Share your comments and contributions. You can also send text messages. And of course, I know you're watching us live on Facebook. Let me pack my hair properly so that I'll look punchy. It's a rainy day, but we have to still look. All right. So thank you, Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook. And don't forget to share. All right, that's all we ask of you. Share to your community because, we don't want to be stingy with information and whatever it is we're enjoying from here. So please share as much as possible. All right, so I'm sure Charity Jerome will join us any moment from now. In the meantime, let's look at what happened this week. And one of the big subjects this week was the IPOB sit at home. And a lot of people were wondering how that would happen. But eventually we saw that people did sit at home. Some people were wondering if they sat at home based on fear or the fact that they felt like they had more respect for IPOB than the government of the day. Well, Deputy Inspector General of Police, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Adedayo Adeoye has said that people in the southeastern part of the country probably complied with prescribed indigenous people of Biafra sit-at-home order for fear of being attacked, while some obeyed because they support IPOB. DIG Adeoye stated this in an interview with The Punch. The Punch had earlier reported that commercial activities came to a standstill on Monday in Imo, Anambra, Enugu, Abia, and Ebonyi State as residents deserted public spaces in compliance with IPOB's sit-at-home order. IPOB, through its Director of Media and Publicity, Powerful, had said human and vehicular movement would be restricted across the southeast on Monday to mark the 54th anniversary of Biafra. As a result, IPOB said all markets, parks, schools, airports and others would be shut down. The state government said the police had asked the people to ignore the separatist group's sit-at-home order, but The Punch reports that commercial banks, schools, shops, malls and other public places were all shut down in the southeast on Monday. Also, commercial and private vehicles deserted the roads.
All right, now, okay. Ronke, I have one or two questions. The first question I have is, why is Nigeria always quiet about that Biafra Day? Why is the nation itself does not recognize that day, as a day that the country itself should recognize and identify with? Why? Absolutely. That's one big question which we're asking. The ghost of Biafra is lurking around. It's still there.
They continually hunt this nation.
Michael also said something like that yesterday too. There was no commemoration of those who died. There was no apologies, for the things done to children, to women, to people, at that time. I kept seeing different pictures of malnourished children who suffered during the war. So some of them packed under a cot in the hospital. So I'm asking, why is that Nigeria had not acknowledged, that day? And also commemorate it if it's possible.
Absolutely.
That will give the people who suffered at that time and the generations after them that that sense of belonging to say that they identify this with us. But that's on one side. The second one is I heard you and Barrister and Plato when you discuss this matter. For me personally, I feel it's a mixed feeling. They obey that sit-at-home order. First, we can say maybe because they were afraid of what would have happened to them if they defied them. Nnamdi Kanu threatened people, when they made that law. Kanu threatened death to anyone who fails to observe the sit-at-home order. If you check Premium Times, that story is there. I like to take a part of it. Condemnation trailed this threat issued to people of Southeast by leader of indigenous people of Biafra on the sit-at-home order. Nnamdi Kanu had in a broadcast declared that the sit-at-home will commence 6 p.m. on Saturday till 6 p.m. on Monday. He said the order is compulsory and must be obeyed by all the people in the region. He warned that anyone seen outside will be killed. From 6 p.m. on the 29th, there will be no movement. This is not a sit-at-home, but no movement. If you are found outside from 6 p.m., you are dead, he said. Now, that, for me, is something that you want to preserve your life against. You don't want to risk it. I was sharing with Chacha yesterday. She also saw the video. There was a video of a young man on a bike.
Yes.
Who was, I don't know if you saw that video. He was riding with another guy, and some boys stopped him and were beating the guy at the back with machete.
Wow.
So you probably have thought that they would have killed him. I mean, that was the fear. So people will have probably stayed at home, partly because they didn't want to confront this kind of guys.
Absolutely.
Then again, you have had the spate of unknown gunmen around that place, that region, and so you don't want to risk your life against such a thing. Also, it's also possible and valid to say that many of them sat at home because they felt maybe since all of these crises, arsons, and the rest have been happening, it seems the federal government is not able to protect them. The police are not able to put them together and say, you are safe here.
I totally agree. So if the government is saying ignore these people, what have you done, put in place to protect me?
So they could sit at home because of that as well. So those are the lines I saw there. Charity is here.
And interestingly, as we all know, this is not the first time, but this is the first time that they're having this kind of compliance. I had a conversation with my friend who lives and works in Enugu. He's also from the southeast about this thing. And this same question was what I asked him. Did the people comply because they're all in support of IPOB and secession? And he said no, that most of the people do not buy into the whole IPOB ideology. As a matter of fact, most members of IPOB are nincompoops. That's what he said. People who are degenerates. Yes, people who are just looking for, like
something relevant.
Touts, exactly. People that are just looking for a cause, something to make trouble about. And then they're the ones. But because of how powerful they had been and the destruction they had been able to do to police infrastructure, INEC offices, people didn't want to see, to experience what will happen if I go out. So they just felt it's safer for me and my family if we stayed back. Even banks, schools, So I think it says a lot. Now, something else that is important to mention is that the Southeastern governors are really drawing the eye of the people. People are angry. They are disappointed at the Southeastern governors for not having the will or the power, or even speaking up for some of the things that are dear to the hearts of the people of the Southeast, and not even on their own declaring the Biafra Remembrance Day or that day as as a public holiday of some sort. I read something from Umahi though. He's saying that now they are open to that idea. So you see what had to happen to get them there.
Absolutely. I think because you were saying earlier about how as a country we must acknowledge that the civil war happened, but then that's why people often say that when we face the federal government or face Nigeria, but what are they doing in the Southeast in the first place? That before we start asking Buhari to acknowledge, what have they done? Do they even have a public holiday? They are the people who were primarily affected by the civil war. So what have they done to ensure that I'm sure nobody will stop them from having some sort of Biafra Day, Memorial Day, do much more than they already do.
Home defiance.
Exactly.
I think before now, the governors and political leaders from the Southeast have not been very honest in their conversations around more Biafra. And yes, they always try to be politically correct, not to anger the people at the center, because the entire country in itself doesn't quite agree to what Biafra was. You talk to people in the Southeast, they'll tell you it's a genocide. There's nothing you can use to do. So there's not been that sincerity of purpose in addressing that historical event.
So we need to agree.
Right.
So
exactly, but that's why some people are
from home. I believe charity must be.
That's why some people are applauding IPOB, because they're the ones that are beginning to let these people see that there's a vacuum here, a vacuum that you should be feeling. Some people feel that way, but then again, it's another thing to see how this is going to play out next year. If the governors will agree to a public holiday, or again, if IPOB will be the ones to come in.
Public holiday, not just public holiday. You see, acknowledge it. Let's say it happened.
If in Rwanda they can acknowledge that the genocide happened, we can acknowledge that it happened.
And they went through.
The people at the center don't believe it's a genocide. For them, it was a civil war.
See, so that there are two sides.
Yes.
Civil war, genocide. Let's come together and be able to agree. At a point.
If I'm being honest, I don't see that happening. Not with our history and the kinds of leaders that we've had at the center.
Yeah,
you see how long it took for Abiola, MKOs, whatever, June 12th.
Yes.
And this is something that was national. It was an election that
happened after that. Nobody talked about it again. Nobody sees, and nobody's angry about
exactly.
June 12. No,
yes.
it's gone because the central government had said something about it.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Absolutely.
So June 12 becomes something that we commemorate.
Yes.
And so if we can commemorate June 12, it's also possible this one.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And on that note, let's take a short commercial break. It is at the Morning Splash with the Breakfast Gang. We'll be right back with more stories from this week. Don't go away.
Hey, why did you put it in the pot like that? You're supposed to break it first. Says who? This is how I cook my pasta. Besides, it's golden penny pasta. It's non-sticky, so it doesn't matter. But I want to cook it with meatballs mixed with pepper sauce and cheese.
Go ahead and enjoy your golden penny pasta just the way you want it. Golden penny pasta is made with durum wheat, which contains protein, and it's non-sticky, so you can cook, serve, and eat just the way you want it. With golden penny pasta, your way is best.
The UEFA Euro 2020 is here, featuring the best of the best, the Sergio Ramoses, the Ronaldos, the Harry Kanes, the Mbappes, and of course you, the super fans. From Friday the 11th of June to Sunday the 11th of July, you can watch your favorite stars battle it out, match up to match, to be crowned kings of Europe. The UEFA Euro 2020. It's anyone's game. Get and stay connected to DSTV to watch every game live on SuperSport or on the DSTV app.
It's a win, yo. Okay, I want to I want papa. We dey collect a 2-man gapa. I want to be fresh, not like bad tarapa. Too much money, or shapa de gada. Oh, goody, ego. I don't play, I don't win, no, ewo. I don't withdraw sharp, no delay, oh. Fractal level, no be play, oh. Bonus yakpa, instant payment, cash out soon go, virtual games, rapapa. It's a win, you rapapa. Rapapa. It's a win, you rapapa. It's a win, you rapapa. It's a win, you. Visit www.frapapa.com for the best in sports betting and online gaming. Frapapa, it's a win.
If you had the clearest camera designed for the best selfies on a smartphone, where would you take your first picture?
Probably at the beach with the backdrop of the midnight skies.
At the cinema. It's dark and all, but for the best selfie, darkness shouldn't be a thing, right?
Or maybe I'll take it in front of my favorite Suya spotto. Some soft light and legendary Suya in the background.
Wherever you choose, stand out with the new Techno Camon 17 smartphone. With its 48MP selfie lens for the clearest selfie, 64MP ultra night camera for stunning pictures in low light, and the MediaTek Helio G95 processor for quality gaming and streaming performance. Techno Camon 17. It's time to stand out.
You can rest assured we will take this jolly ride with you. Our bet is on you. 'Cause you are a winner. We'll win with you. We'll run with you all the way. We'll share your dreams and we'll turn them to reality. We're invested in your tomorrow.
ARM, invested in your tomorrow.
Child blessing. Your Bobo don't dash you gift again.
He bought me the new itel P37 smartphone, and right there, I got a free gift and 3,000 naira airtime.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The itel Mega Sales promo is on. Buy the new itel P37 and stand a chance to win a package of itel family products like itel TV, itel laptops, and many more. Promo runs from now till the 30th of June. Terms and conditions apply. itel, enjoy better life.
Take it back to the old school classics on Splash 105.5 FM with luminary DJ Eden. Every Saturday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. We'll throw you all the way back to the 90s, 80s, and as far back as the 60s. We'll bring you juju, reggae, disco, new jack swing, and many more.
right here on Splash 105.5 FM every Saturday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The Splash Vintage Sounds.
What are you looking for? The experience of a lifetime? Front row seats?
Game time.
To rub shoulders with the best in the world?
Ronaldo. Oh my goodness me.
And to witness 24 teams battle it out for the ultimate prize.
Hey, my people. Euro 2020 don't land for your domos. Watch all the games live and get better enjoyment on Super Sports Channel 32 from 11 June to 11 July. Make una no miss any of Euro 2020 matches though. Get your own Go TV decoder plus Go Tenor. Make you enjoy 1 month max subscription for just 9,500 naira. Enter the home of football. Go TV. Love it.
Hey, Oga and Madam, you don't see the room now. Make I show you the toilet where you could share with the other neighbors.
Now the toilet be this.
What's up?
Oga agent, you mean say na general toilets clean come white like this,
Yes, now. Na hypo toilet cleaner than they use to clean and kill the yama jams come out.
Hypo toilet cleaner? Wow.
Wash your toilet at least once a week with hypo toilet cleaner to keep it sparkling clean and gem free. Available in sachet for 35 naira only. Madam, now 2 years land one collect.
We go pay for 6 years.
Anytime malaria show, Nakam Shalatem.
Má ṣe gba ibà láyè lára rẹ o. Tètè kojú rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú Shalatem. Shalatem jẹ́ ojúlówó oògùn ibà tí a fi atẹ́mítà àti lumefantrine ṣe láti ọwọ́ Shalina Healthcare ní ilẹ̀ tiwantiwa Nàìjíríà. Shalatem wà fún ọmọdé, ó sì wà fún àgbàlagbà. Pàápàá jùlọ, ó wà fún gbogbo ọjọ́ orí. Wàyí o, rántí láti lo Shalatem pẹ̀lú oúnjẹ. Tí àlàáfíà ò bá wá dé bá ara rẹ lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta, tètè kó ya lọ rí dókítà.
Try Ariel. Now your clothes will be cleaner than they've ever been. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel is worth it. One wash removes 99.9% germs and eliminates tough stains. Well, Ariel is worth it. Oh, yeah, protect your clothes and your family too. You know how much that's worth to you. Yeah. Ariel is worth it. Well, Ariel.
Splash FM 105.5.
Welcome back to the Morning Splash this wonderful Friday morning with the Morning Splash gang here on Splash 105.5 FM. Thank you very much for joining us. And we're looking at the week and some of the stories that make headlines this week. We talked about the iPop sit at home, which I believe was what actually started the whole Twitter. Yes, absolutely. Because then President Buhari went on Twitter to talk stern. You know, we've been asking for him to be firm, to be stern. I think the man is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. But anyway, many Nigerians flooded the social media space on Wednesday to criticize President Muhammadu Buhari following Twitter's removal of his controversial tweet many believed was targeted at Igbo-dominated southeastern region of the country. The reactions to Twitter's verdict had shot Mr. Buhari to the position of the second most trending Nigerian topics on the microblogging site as of the time of filing this report on Wednesday. It said Premium Times reported how Twitter deleted President's tweet, which was seen as a veiled threat to the southeastern region. He issued a threat in reaction to escalating violence across Nigeria, especially in the region. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand, he wrote on Tuesday. I know Charity got a bit of a bashing. Tell us about it, Charity.
I was listening to her. I
was watching on Facebook as well.
Oh my God, the interesting thing about us, most of us as a people, is like when we have our own opinions, we want everybody to just be on that part. But unfortunately, the work that we do doesn't guarantee us that kind of luxury. So even if the popular side is this one, some other people feel a certain way, and you have to represent them in that conversation. So that was what I was trying to do when a lot of people didn't want to have it, because my point was okay, so people were angry that the president didn't talk so harshly or sternly about Fulani herdsmen.
But didn't we hear when he said the shoot at sight? Was he not joining the Fulani?
I mean, I asked somebody that. A lot of people still believe that he has never said anything bad.
That's not true,
you know. But my point is that the forum where the president made these comments were specific to the events in the southeast. The INEC chairman had just made a presentation about how 41 offices or so had been burnt in the last two years, and how they are losing equipment and it might jeopardize the 2023 elections, plus the elections that they're going to have to conduct in Anambra State and the like. So that was the focus. The president was reacting based on that incident within that context. So if he doesn't address herdsmen crisis or banditry, it is because that this thing it was for INEC and the Southeast. But then again, some people said that he had opportunities in the past to condemn. Other people went back to bring out tweets or messages where he was pleading with bandits to release people, and then when it comes to IPOB, he's very stern and very harsh. But the big question is, in that tweet, did the president say something that was outrageous?
I looked at it as well. I've looked and looked, and
you're still wondering?
I'm still wondering if what he said was...
Well, now the point is this. Excuse me. The reference to Biafran War, I played the audio yesterday. Yes. I heard you also played their audio. So I played the audio already yesterday evening. The reference to that war, civilian war, and the timing. Remember, they just finished the Remembrance Day of Biafra. It was in bad taste to say. Just about reference, it was in bad taste. That's the point that I would like to make.
But he was saying that for those who have experienced war, we know that we do not want war. If you have ever been, and that's why I say when I see young people who are talking about, I'm thinking, God, as people who have experienced.
Yeah, it is sensitivity.
And that's what he said.
It is sensitivity of that time.
Mentioning it, right.
Mentioning it in that breath.
Yeah.
And the timing. Ordinarily, if you pull it out
on its own, yes,
you probably will see a president saying, if you're a criminal, we'll deal with you. I mean, that's what you should say.
Exactly.
But then again, circumstances, context and situations are important in public speech and public statements. So I was looking for a situation where, yes, the president should speak tough. Absolutely. I was looking for, a rallying point for the nation. The one that will speak and all of us will be, will be assuaged and we want to listen. That's what I was looking for. But you see, you can't determine how people respond to what you say.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, and that's the point a lot of people made, especially analysts. It was ambiguous, and when you make ambiguous statements, they're open to whatever kind of interpretation. Plus, I kind of feel like if this statement had come from somebody other than maybe a different president, not President Muhammadu Buhari, we may not have seen this kind of reaction. The people in the Southeast already believe that they are marginalized, that the president has intentionally kept them away from strategic positions, and that is unfair. And then you come and tell us this. So I think that there's a grouse that they already have against the president, and this just added to it.
Also because, earlier just today we just talked about how you refused to acknowledge that something happened. Now you're using it as an example to say, well, so you know that this war happened and you know it was bad, but yet refuse to acknowledge it and give these people some sort of respite.
People will not, like I said, you can't determine how I react to what you said. Somebody said, I don't know, it was on Twitter, he said, what the way he interpreted that tweet, the last part was, we killed your fathers. We're going to kill you too.
That's, if you think about it that way, and that's what you've talked about when you're ambiguous. People will read all sorts of meanings.
Oh my God!
So that's, my mind did not.
This should be a lesson. This should be a lesson to the president, to the president's handlers, that no matter how harsh you want to sound, there are certain areas you shouldn't touch, or certain words, or
be conversant about the circumstances that.
Yes, you have to be sensitive to a people's history, especially a history that has been as painful as it has been. People, I mean, a lot of people say they've not recovered from these things, and then you spring up words like that, it would rile people up.
If our leaders don't have PR, people who handle crisis, I don't know. Don't have people?
No, Ronnie, did you see that the president didn't have a speech? He was speaking off the top of his head, and that was the very few moments when he would actually speak words of his own. Usually, there's always a prepared speech from which he quotes and reads, but that time, maybe because he felt so angry, you know. And there's also the point of people accusing him of using this as an excuse to not conduct elections in 2023. So he wanted to dissuade people and make sure that.
Why do we think like that? No,
is he not Nigeria?
I kept telling everyone I want to hear that. Look, this president is. You should stop thinking that this president is going to stay beyond his tenure.
Maybe it's not him. Maybe the people who think this think is the people who are the cabal. You know, they still want some more time.
Yesterday, somebody put a news up that there was a secret memo sent by Malami to president to deactivate the constitution.
Yeah, that was big.
You know, and that, I mean, you know, it was fake. People say a lot of things.
Exactly.
Like
fake news is, I mean, this is the time of, we have to be very mindful and careful of
But
what
then
we forward.
again, I know this is not what we're talking about. Given the history of Malami and some of the things that he has said in the past, would it be entirely ridiculous to think that he would not do such a thing?
Deactivate the constitution.
I know this is hypothetical, but for someone who's looking for a solution and is trying to quash whatever chaos is starting, someone who has said in the past that banning open grazing is tantamount to barring. I mean, this is it really? I feel like there's no fire without a smoke. So maybe it was contemplated. Maybe then someone pulled it. Of course, this is all conjecture. I have to put it there.
Wait until we see it. You know,
is that waiting that scares people? Because people think there's fire on the mountain.
We are blindsided, and then things just happen. So people just raise the alarm.
Okay, let's look at the other. Let's move away from Malami because that's a very dangerous place we're treading. Now let's look at how the government reacted to Twitter deleting this account, because then also we know that Twitter deleted former president, the American president, and so people were questioning: is this tech?
And even suspended his account.
Yes, suspended his account. Now the Nigerian government, I saw the video where Lai Mohammed, when he carried his portfolio,
that is a joke.
It was the way he just. I thought this was a man on a mission. All right, the Nigerian government has reacted to Twitter's decision to delete President Muhammadu Buhari's tweet that referenced the civil war. Buhari threatened those fomenting trouble in Nigeria's southeast region that his government will treat them in the language they understand. Many of those behaving today are too young. Okay, we've said that. Let me move on. Twitter rules prohibit users from making statements that threaten violence against an individual or a group of people, engage in a targeted harassment of someone, or incite other people to do so, nor promote violence against blah, blah, blah. All right, in response, Twitter deleted the vexatious tweet. So I'm trying to jump and I'm still getting to the point where we've already talked about. However, reacting after Wednesday's Federal Executive Council presided over by President Buhari, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, accused Twitter of double standards in handling the issue. Mohammed, who dismissed it, Twitter's accused the social media giant of bias and supporting the looting and destruction of public and private properties during the NSAS protests in November 2020. Once again, I think these people do not have people who can help them communicate. And their issue is communication.
You are throwing the last part of Michael.
I think is insensitivity. Something they're just unable to put themselves in the shoes of ordinary Nigerians and see it from the angle of ordinary. You know, they have their high horse, they're up there, and then they're looking down on us. They just cannot understand why we're going on and on about these things, because
ordinary Nigerians.
But they are, unfortunately. It's just that we come from a place where to be a leader, it means you are more than every other person. In other climes, leadership is service, not here.
Our climb. You just said other climb. That was our climb. It's our climb.
You know, why is it that when they want to quote things, I mean, I was watching Yaya Yahaya Bello on television yesterday, and he was saying that other places where we got our democracy from, they don't do rotational presidency and all. So why is it that when they are quick to condemn something that doesn't suit them, they point to those places, but when it's something that's obvious that leaders in those places do benefit the people, they don't see it. They're like completely blind. I didn't see the need for saying that Twitter supported NSAS.
And even Twitter does support NSAS. Twitter didn't support those who were looting. Twitter was supporting a cause. NSAS was a cause which Twitter supported, and I don't think there was anything wrong with that. It wasn't like, the people that were even, looting and burning places were on Twitter saying we're going to burn places, and Twitter said, yeah, high five.
I listened to Lai Mohammed. I even played it yesterday as well. The bottom line is, he said Twitter is suspect. And Twitter's action in Nigeria is suspicious.
That they will not gag the president. Yes. They're not even attempting to gag the president. I mean, the president has other avenues through which to get his message across, apart from Twitter.
Also said, why haven't you suspended, deleted Nnamdi Kanu, Wiki's, comments? Why? I just read one from Premium Times. I don't know whether he had it on the microblogging site, but the things that those people also said are things that also warrant
Twitter to look. Yes, I think the reason why Twitter jumped on this was the reaction that tweet got in the time that it got those reactions.
People should also understand that Twitter is a community, with rules, with order.
It's not like Jack is just sitting there thinking, look, that he can't see everybody's tweets. It's reactions to tweets that will determine.
So Twitter will be interested because its algorithm. Twitter will be interested in why is this generating so much attention, and it sustained, number one on the search list, and
for a long time.
You see a lot of quotes, tweets, on it, and so Twitter as a community, for me, Twitter is not where the president is telling us what is happening. Twitter is just a social media.
Besides, even though it was deleted, we still saw the tweets screen launch all over the place.
It's everywhere. So,
and the person that put out that tweet made a mistake. I think they should fire that person. Yes. I mean, when you listen to the audio, the person missed out. It wasn't connected like that. There was after the president said, "We that served 30 months in," he said, "I mean, I don't understand." And then he went on to say, "We will treat them in the language," but they connected it to mean that we that will treat them in the language that they understand.
And they're trying to be sensational.
How can you be sensational with your own principals? Comments.
That's been calling for it to be firm now. So that was their way of saying, "You want firm, we give you firm. You want to see
they
crazy."
Really have a PR problem.
You want to see crazy.
You said president should talk.
Exactly. He's talking too much.
Okay, so
you have to determine.
Are we taking calls?
We want to take one call. Let's take.
But you're also going to host Michael Atuboso. He wants to talk about.
Fantastic! Yes, the academy. Have you heard about the Splash FM Media
Academy?
Media Academy. We are going to hear about it soon. But let's take this call. This last call. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Eze.
Go ahead, Eze.
Yes, I want to first, I'll be very brief and objective. I listened to Sheil, and he actually pointed out exactly why that tweet by the president was wrong at that moment. The remembrance, it's very important. It's very important. I condemn the arson in the East, but at the same time, Mr. President was adding salt to injury yesterday on that very tweet. And I want to appreciate you for that. Now, there's what we call influence. We all know. You say something, but inside, there's something unstated that we all know. If you look deep into that tweet, you will see that there's something hurting there. And so I ask again, because Chacha was the umpire that very day, but she shouldn't expect us to see things the way she's seeing it. It's not possible. I know you are raising the other side, but there's something that is unstated in that tweet that is even more hurting. That is our side. Now AK-47. The president talked about AK. How many of them have been caught? I ask. How many of the bandits have been caught? AK-47. We've not had anything. Nothing. And of course, we just had the Amoteku general talk. 2 days ago. He talked about the threat in our forest in Southwest. I wish the president can alter this for that as well. That's what we're saying. You don't use your emotions because you are angry. And at the other side, there are some set of people that are having a field day. It doesn't work like that. It means that there's something wrong somewhere. Our president should not be one-sided. These guys are coming to our forest from Chad, Mali, and he has not uttered a statement close to that. Then again, you talked about June 12. June 12 is different from the Civil War. It's easier to say, yes, let's have a consensus for June 12. The federal government will not. There can never be any consensus for genocidal because the federal government will not.
Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have any more time. Thank you so much for that reaction and the comments there. We really appreciate that. Let me race through to Twitter real quickly and see.
And just to put in, I wasn't expecting anybody to see it from my own side. I just wanted us to have a balanced conversation and acknowledge that there are people who saw things from that side. Izzy, I hope you understand that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm sure he does. Well, it comes with the job. It comes with the territory. So it's okay. We've all had it sometimes. All right, so well, thank you all so much for listening to the Breakfast Gang. I'm not sure if you have heard about the Splash Media Academy, bringing integrity, protecting and preserving the broadcast integrity. And I'm so excited to have join us today, Michael Olatubosun. Good morning, Mr. Mike.
Good morning, Ronke. Good morning, Charity.
How are you today?
I'm very fine.
Fantastic. Fine. And shall I call you the head of school at Splash Media Academy? He's the head of school. The headmaster. Okay. And the perfect person to be the head of school, really, Mr. Mike. So tell us, why we needed, there's always a need, when there's an issue, we create something to sort of fill a vacuum. What was the need for this academy?
Yeah, the academy was born out of the fact that we looked around and we saw that broadcast standards being lowered and quality of people who parade themselves as broadcasters are also gone down a bit. So the idea is to help bring back the integrity of the sector, the subsector in the broadcast sphere. So Splash FM thought that we are experienced enough, we have the personnel, we have the quality, we have the integrity, we have all the ingredients that you need to help to solve this problem that we have observed in the sector, which is that's why we have created the Splash FM Media Academy.
This is exciting. It's fantastic. Splash is the most listened to radio station.
Oh, yes.
We have some of the best radio presenters, broadcasters on our dial, and so now you're sort of you're paying it forward, building more broadcasters like those we have here at Splash FM. So what's the curriculum going to be like? And then also, who is it open to?
It's open to everybody. If you're 15 years and 90 years, yes, our academy is very much open and receptive. We have courses. We have assembled courses that should make you the very good, excellent broadcaster.
All-rounder.
Yeah, you cannot be perfect really. You become perfect by everyday practice.
True.
So we're putting a lot to, first of all, introduce you to the basic things that you need to be able to operate as a broadcast presenter. So you have production, you have elocution, you have
digital media,
all sorts have been put in there.
Okay, well, how can people reach you? I know there are people right now who are wondering, I want my child to go here, I want to go here, I want to get involved, I want to be a part of this. Where can they go? How can they reach you?
Okay, so you can go to social media. Just go to @Splash FM Academy on Facebook, Twitter.
Splash FM Academy.
Yeah, Twitter and Instagram.
Right.
Call this
come
number.
to Splash FM.
Yeah,
I think the office is right next to you.
Yeah, come to Splash
White
FM
House.
here. Yes, you can call this number 070 543 9333 9332 or 0805 699 8676.
Fantastic. Yes, you can just come to Splash as well.
Yes,
the Splash Academy is just next to Splash.
Yeah, beside
the
Splash
building.
building
and this is phenomenal. Well done, Mr. Michael. Well done to Chief Adebayo Akonde for this great initiative.
Exactly.
It's wonderful. Thank you for being a part of the program.
Anytime.
Splash FM 105.5.
kíni kan wà tí gbogbo obìnrin máa ń ní tí wọ́n bá ti di abiyamọ tí ọmọ tí ẹbí rẹ̀ bá nírora torí bá ń fọ́ wọn ṣé bí ìjáfara léwu abiyamọ kì í fi ìgbà ìrora